It's Rusty Bird. It's the Kirk and Bird Show. We are here to talk about our week 3 selections. We had this was a challenging week for me, but some of the crew did very well. And we'll start out by introducing everyone. First, we got Jason Sterling. He's our Loudoun County expert, sometimes the voice of Stonebridge football. But he really knows the whole state of Virginia. Like he comes with facts every time. And then we got Jay Gholson, the godfather of Prince William County Sports, the proprietor of the real Prince William County Sports Facebook page, and he's the voice of Freedom Football. And then we've got Kirk Hilliard. He's my co-host. He's from Phoebus, and he knows a little bit about everything around the state. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So look, let's go ahead on and get started. I'm going to MC. We'll get through this kind of quickly. First game that we covered was Freedom against Varina. Now, we talked about this because people, overall, and we talked about this before we got on, like there have been some challenging early season games, and this was one of them we all circled. Okay, and so when we talk Freedom Varina, you're talking about last year's Class 6 champion, and Varina won it 2 years ago, right? Class 4. All right, and it's a really good program. So what we picked, Kirk, why don't you go ahead and let us know how you did? I see you picked Freedom.
37-10.
Yep. I picked Freedom 34-14. And Jay, doesn't matter. We know who Jay picked, right? Who did you pick, Jay? Let me guess.
Freedom.
Oh, wow. I never would have guessed that. Jay picked Freedom. And
by the way, the player of the week came from that game.
Okay, hold it.
Okay.
All right, we'll hold it. All right, good. That's good to know. A little tease. All right. So Rob Robinson, he couldn't join the show last week. He's a coach at Phoebus, but he picked Freedom to win as well, 42-7. And before I go to you, Jason, I will also mention our other guest picker, which was Stan Jones. He picked Freedom to win 49-zip. Jason, drum roll.
Yeah, I also had Freedom winning that game.
Oh, you did. I'm so surprised. All right. So we all got that right. But now let's go over to Highland Springs, Manchester, which is a rival from the 804. They played them very tough last year, early in the season. And we'll go through our picks, but this was a pretty close game.
Yeah, it was 41-35, Highland Springs.
Yeah, 6-point difference. And I know I was checking on that. My nephew was texting me, and he was like, do you know the score? And I was like, it's tied in the fourth quarter, man. So that just tells you how strong Manchester is. And now they're both in Class 6. But going along with our picks, Kirk?
I had Highland Springs winning 31-17.
Yep. And I had Highland Springs winning 24-20. Jay?
I had Highland Springs barely winning because of going to Miami the week before.
Oh, that's right. You thought they were out at South Beach.
They were at the birdcage the night before.
Jason?
Yeah, I had Highland Springs winning this one too, guys.
Okay. All right. Yep. And so did Rob and Stan Jones. All right. Good stuff. Now, Thomas Bird at Dale, a county rivalry game, but it is a Class 5 versus Class 6, so they're both getting some good work in. I picked Bird, and I got it wrong. But Kirk, how did you go with this one?
I had Thomas Dale 28-24.
All right, yeah, and I said Bird 17-10. Thomas Dale did win that game. Jay,
I had Thomas Dale in that game in a close one.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Jason.
Thomas Dale.
Yeah. You had it pretty close too, right? I had you Dale 26-24.
Yeah, Dale's got 2 shutouts on the year, man.
Wow. That's some good football down there. And then our guest who couldn't make it, Rob picked Bird 28-24, and Stan picked Bird as well, 28-7. All right. The next one is a huge one.
Yeah, this was the big game in the state. Didn't disappoint. Phoebus at Oscar Smith. And I picked it 24-10. I do know that score. It was 16-2. Impressive by the Phoebus defense for a great Oscar Smith team not to let them score. There were a lot of turnovers, but I think Phoebus established themselves definitely as the favorite in Class 4.
Yeah, I agree. And I picked Phoebus to win by. I thought it would be a little closer, but I did say 20-17. Jay?
I had Phoebus also in that game. Not a blowout, close game, but I had Phoebus.
Okay. Jason?
I had Phoebus as well in that one. So
All right. So Stan picked Phoebus to win by a score of 42-14. And Rob, because he's on that coaching staff, he chose not to pick that game, but he picked an extra game, a different game, and then he picked King George versus Hampton High School, and he picked King George to win 35-7. He was pretty close.
That was pretty close, yeah.
Yep. Very, very pretty close to almost being spot on. So the next game, big Fairfax County duel, two really strong teams and teams that had big week ones. In this one, Madison was victorious over Lake Braddock, and it really wasn't even a close game. And so, Kirk, you picked Madison, right?
Yep, 31-10.
Yeah. All right. I picked Madison as well, 35-24. What about you, Jay?
I predicted a Madison letdown in the first half, but they were going to win close, and they won.
Yeah. What about you, Jason?
I had Madison in that game, Rusty.
Yeah. And Stan picked Madison. Rob, I believe Rob picked Madison as well. So, all right, let's go on to South County at Quince Orchard. Another one of those out-of-state games. QO is a powerhouse in Maryland football, and South County's been pretty steady. They are steadily a good program over the last 7 to 10 years. They won a state championship 4 years ago, but they disappointed me and took an L to QO. And so, yes, I picked South County to win, but they lost to Quince Orchard. Kirk, who did you pick?
I picked Quince Orchard 35-16.
Jay?
Because of a long bus ride, I picked Quince Orchard by a blowout.
Yeah, that's 50-minute bus ride. Woo! I'll tell you. All right. What about you, Jay? Son.
Yeah, I had QO as well in that one. Didn't see the shutout coming, but had QO.
Yeah. Stan, he also picked QO, and Rob was picked along the lines with me, and he picked South County. All right. And then this was a one I actually changed my pick in the middle of our conversation last week. I had put down that Wise would win, but as I was talking through it, I convinced myself, wait a minute, I got to go for all of our state teams as we go out of state. So I did pick Maury to beat Wise, and they did. They beat him pretty handily. My choice, well, I thought it was going to be a little closer. I say 35-28. Kirk, how'd you go?
27-7, Maury.
Yep. And Jay.
Pick Maury, big time.
Maury. Okay. Yeah. Jason.
Yeah, I had Maury pretty big as well.
Yeah. And you said 40-13. You might have been the closest. And then Rob and Stan picked Maury as well. Next week, two coaches that we've had on the show, Briarwood, Loudoun County. Kirk, who did you pick for this one?
I picked Briarwoods. I was at that game. Briarwoods. I picked Briarwoods to win 30-7, and final score, Jason. I think we were there.
27-14 was your final.
27-14. Yep. So good game.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I thought Loudoun County would win. Trying to go with family, the Davis crew. But what about you, Jay?
I picked that game, Briarwoods. I had Briarwoods.
You picked Briarwood. Okay. All right. And Jason?
I had Briar in that game.
Okay. All right. And then Rob had Briarwood, and Stan selected Loudoun County.
I will say this. Jeremiah Davis Jr., number 11, he fits in a uniform for a 15-year-old. Man, he is going to be, woo. He played tight end, and I can't believe how big he's gotten, Rusty, from the last time we saw him. He's 15 years old, and he is put together. I just want to add that.
I saw a picture on Facebook. I was like, yo, he is really grown up. He looks like a baller. So look, let's go now with a lot of us were surprised at the outcome of this game, but Stonebridge traveled to West Virginia powerhouse Martinsburg. Does anybody have that final?
Yeah,
41-7.
Worst loss in the history of Stonebridge.
Wow.
Yeah. And the it's been almost 20 years since they've lost back-to-back games.
Yeah, long time.
Yeah. But they're playing a very, very, very tough schedule. But along the way we picked, I thought that Stonebridge would win. Thought it would be close, but I thought Stonebridge would win. Kirk?
Yeah, I picked Stonebridge on a close one. So I think I was going to say everybody but Jay picked Stonebridge. I would just add this, Rusty. That's a great place to see a football game.
Yes.
And great environment. And that team, loaded, very physical, had some really good players. I do not think Stonebridge is as bad as that score. I just think that they're going to right the ship this week. So, big surprise.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Highland Springs play them last year and they beat them, right?
They did.
They beat
They
them handily, I
bad
believe,
up there, but they returned. Martinsburg returned everybody. Their lines were just. I was saying before the show, their lines are dominant, very dominant this year.
Yeah,
it showed in that game.
Okay.
Two good running backs, a very, very good quarterback who played both ways. He played safety. Jason, there was that one pass. He looked like a professional player.
Yes, he did.
It was a deep play, and he got the. I was like, I cannot believe the arm, and he's not a really big guy. So Murphy, but that was they're a great team.
Okay. Okay, cool. And then the last game was Gainesville versus Garfield, and I know Jay you actually had seen Garfield the first week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you thought they looked good.
Yeah.
Nope.
And they looked okay against Gainesville, man. It was a tie game, almost in halftime. But Garfield is not gonna give up.
No, I wasn't there, but I heard Garfield could have won that game. It sounds like they made some mistakes and didn't play smart near the end. But that sounds. I heard it was a good game. But Kirk, who did you have winning that game?
I had Garfield. So I would just add this. I think Gainesville's a team to be reckoned with out there with Battlefield and Patriot and the other Western Prince William County teams. I'm impressed with them. Yeah.
Kirk, you said Garfield. Jay said Garfield, and I picked Gainesville to win 28-14. What about you, Jay?
I had Garfield too, so I blew that one.
Oh wow! Okay, all right, yeah. And Stan picked Gainesville along with Rob. Coach Rob picked Gainesville as well. So when we do our tally, looks like Kirk, you only missed 2 games.
Jake Gholson only missed 1 game. He was our
one game. Yes, sir. Jay, you won.
He picked Garfield.
Well, that makes up for last week when you went 9-4. Okay, all right, cool. I got 4 wrong.
Woo!
So I'm probably overall in last place. But look, so that was week 2, fun week. But here we go. We start right back over week 3. So we've got a great slate of games for week 3. Go ahead, Jason.
I'll do it. All right. So quickly here, you got Kings Fork coming in with just 1 game under their belt. They're 1-0. Western Branch is 1-1 following their loss last week to Benedictine. That's a private school out of Richmond. Kings Fork's got a Power 5 running back, guys. Javon Ford. He's got 9 or 10 offers. He's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting in the ground game for him. Western Branch has some playmakers too. You guys had their coach on, Rashad Cook. Yeah, his son is a running back for them, Devin Cook. So he's going to Wake Forest. Keep an eye on him as well. I think he can help him keep it close. But Western Branch is trying to replace 2 very dynamic players that moved on last year. Shamik Blizzard and Paul Billups have both gone from that team. So That's going to be tough. Because of that, I've got Kings Fork 21, Western Branch 16.
Kirk?
I want to take Western Branch. Sorry about that. I think that they're going to come back this week. I think they're a very talented team. And I like Western Branch 31-21.
Okay. And Jay Gholson, who do you have in that matchup?
Last year, Kings Fork beat Western Branch at Western Branch. I feel that Kings Fork is a better team. And I would say Kings Fork 26, Western Branch 12.
Okay. Yeah, I am.
Coach Cook, that's his sound clip he needs to motivate his guys right there.
Coach Cook, I got your back, man. I got Western Branch winning this one 24-21. I know Kings Fork lost their senior quarterback last year. So I just think I saw a couple of highlights from Western Branch the other day, and I think that they'll be able to pull this out. Next, we have DeMatha Freedom. Anybody know anything about that game, Jay?
I think I do. Well, yeah, DeMatha, ranked number 1 in the Washington Post. Freedom's number 1 in the Max Prep state of Virginia. DeMatha has 2 Power 5 linemen. They have a 3-star running back. They have a decent quarterback and a good wide receiver. Freedom has, as you all know, 4 Division I players at skill positions. Public school versus private school. I'm saying DeMatha won't be used to this environment, being 5,000 kids, or 5,000 fans in Prince William County, PG County. The pressure, that's a long bus ride in traffic.
It is though. Jay's right.
Tired. I'm gonna be loud music. I'm gonna say Freedom 35, DeMatha 20. By the way, the player of the week is from Freedom. From last week's player of the week is EJ Reed. That's why.
EJ Reed, cool.
Player of the week, Jay Gholson, realtor extraordinaire.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you, Jay. All right. Yeah. So I saw DeMatha scrimmage Freedom last year, and it was very close. And that's when I thought that Freedom was going to have a special season. But this year, not that this Freedom team is not great. Don't get me wrong. I've seen them play once. I saw them play in person against Coolidge. But I think DeMatha is going to want to try to prove that scrimmage was kind of a fluke or that Freedom's not all that. And I think Freedom's going to have a great season. But for this game, I'm going to go with DeMatha because 35-28. And the reason is because I think Freedom will have a whole season to figure this out. But I think you cannot underestimate the impact that TJ Bush had on Freedom as a team in that defense, his leadership and what he brought to them. And so I think that's going to be part of the difference. And so I think DeMatha will win 35 by touchdowns.
Me and Jason need to pick, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll take Freedom by a close margin. And I think the difference is going to be, 1, the game was close last week, so I think Freedom learned a valuable lesson. 2, the home field advantage with DeMatha coming, down in Beltway traffic. So I like Freedom 31-28.
Good pick, Kirk. So, hey, real quick for your viewers that may not know, obviously people, when they think of DeMatha, they think of Morgan Wooten, right? One of the greatest high school basketball coaches of all time. He also coached their football team for a few years there.
Yeah.
Bill McGregor took over.
I know that.
Wooten is the only all high school only, no college, no pro, that's in the Naismith Hall of Fame for basketball.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. Great. He stopped Lou Alcindor's 71-game winning streak.
That's right. And they played that game at Cole. They played that game at Cole Fieldhouse.
That's right. So a lot of history there, guys, with their sports coaches and everything. I mean, they got NFL alumni.
Oh,
any state you go to. I think Freedom's test last week against Varina will help them. I agree with you guys. I think they maybe got some of the kinks out of their system. Those 2 pick sixes. We're not accustomed to seeing Freedom do that. It's going to be a tight game. I've got Freedom 28, DeMatha 26. Very tight game.
Woo!
Freedom pulls this thing out.
Woo!
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that, as far as the bus ride, and I know we joke about it, I don't think that's going to play a big role for DeMatha. And the reason is because them playing in the WAC, most of their games, when they do travel on the road, it's not close. So if they're going even to places in Maryland, Good Counsel's not close. If they're going to St. Mary's Riken, or if they're going to St. John's, nobody is in their neighborhood.
Rusty, they're not going 95 South for those games. 95 South on a Friday is brutal.
They can get on the hotel.
They can get on the HO. They can get on the HOV.
They got Beltway too.
They have what?
Fine.
They have the Beltway. DeMatha's going to come around the Beltway. They're going to come around through PG County. Have to go to Wilson Bridge.
All right.
Okay. All right. So remember that. Okay. All right. Cool. So now King George is playing Riverbend. That's our next big matchup.
Let me do it. So look, it's really hard to cover a 4-star receiver out there. Riverbend's got to find a way to cover 2, right? they got to somehow check Mekhi White and Chance Wiggins. Both of them are 6'4". They're huge receivers. King George is a sleeper, guys. Nobody talks about it because Class 4 is so deep with Phoebus and Dinwiddie and all these teams. King George is going to be right there at the very end. I really like what they're doing. Riverbend's got a very experienced quarterback. This kid named Tanner Triplett. He's the most experienced quarterback in their district. I think he could keep them in this game for a little bit, but King George pulls us out. Way too much talent on the outside. King George 38, Riverbend 21.
Okay. All right. I picked King George to win as well, 28-21. Riverbend is a good program, and they smashed Forest Park. But yeah, I have to agree. King George has got a lot of talent in receiver.
Like you said, Forest Park is a bad team, and Riverbend beat them pretty bad last Friday. But like Jason said, you have 2 receivers who are 6'4" that are basically Division I receivers. That's hard to stop. So I'm going with King George. King George, I'm gonna say 22 to 7.
All right.
King George.
It's a King George party. Chance Wiggins, Virginia Tech commit. I think Mekhi White's going to Maryland.
Yep.
I like King George 34-7 over Riverbend.
All right. Next, we got Brentsville at Millbrook. Jay?
No, Fairfax at Centerville.
Oh, I'm sorry. Fairfax at Centerville. That's right.
Oh.
All right.
Jason.
Yeah. Fairfax, Centerville. Look, 2 very good teams here, guys. I think 2 underrated coaches. Trey Taylor from Fairfax, John Seals from Centerville. These guys really have their programs always headed in the right direction. They're always challenging for a regional title, possibly fighting for a state championship type positioning. I like what both of these teams do. I think Fairfax has a few more pieces here, particularly with the transfer coming in for the Georgia-bound transfer, Chris Jones, who came in from Mountain View. I think a player like that makes the difference in this game. I've got Fairfax here, 28, Centerville 14.
Okay. I think Fairfax is going to win this. I was surprised Centerville lost to West Potomac. So that was a bit of a shocker, but West Potomac does that periodically. But I've got Fairfax winning this 30-21 over Centerville.
I have Fairfax in this game. Fairfax 19, Centerville 7.
All right. So we interviewed Coach Shields at Fairfax. I think that they are rebuilding. He does have the home field advantage. I like Fairfax in this one, 27-10. Real quick, is interesting that Coach Shields' son, Jack Shields, is a backup for ODU and got in the game in Blacksburg this past weekend. So that was nice to see for the Shields family.
Oh, yeah. Oh, cool. That's cool. Yeah. Next, now we have Brentsville, Millbrook. Jay?
Well, Brentsville's undefeated. Millbrook's undefeated. Brentsville, their issue is, from what I've seen, is their offensive line. They have a good running back, Nico Lloyd, good quarterback, and Caleb. But it's a long ride to Millbrook. And Brentsville does not play very well against good teams on the road, whether it was Phoebus last year, Kettle Run. I'm going to hate to say it because I'm a Brentsville fan, but if I got to bet my card, I'm going to say Millbrook 24, Brentsville 10.
Oh, okay. All right. What about you, Kurt?
I like Brentsville. I definitely like Brentsville. I think that Brentsville's got a great shot at winning the Class 3 title this year. Millbrook knocked out a good Tuscarora team last year, so they're going to be good. I think this is going to be really close. I'm going to take Brentsville 24-17, and at the end of the day, that is one of the most beautiful rides in the world, going from that part of Prince William County out to Millbrook, which is
Winchester
in Frederick County. Yeah, beautiful. They're going to see the sunset over those mountains. So yeah, Brentsville, close.
All right, cool.
Listen, I like Brentsville in this game. Millbrook out of the Northwestern District. They did put themselves on people's radar last year, but that upset of Tusky that Kirk just referenced in the playoffs. Both teams are undefeated, like Jay said. So you got 2-0 versus, both teams here somebody's looking to go 3-0. Brentsville got a lot of talent coming back. They've got a linebacker, Langston White, 6'2", 210. So he's got the size to man that position. But there's talent everywhere around Brentsville. I hear what Jay's saying about them maybe not playing well against good teams. There were 2 losses last year, obviously sort of blowouts with, as Jay mentioned, Kettle Run, Phoebus. I don't think that's going to happen here. I don't think Millbrook's Kettle Run or Phoebus. Too much talent on Brentsville. I think they win this one 36-19.
Woo!
Oh, all right. Yeah. And then you guys are spot on with a lot of it. I just think it'll be close, but I do have Brentsville pulling this one out 33-30. All right. Next one, big game. My nephew, who's going to be going to Maury, he called me last night to talk about it and get my opinion. But this one at Highland Springs at Maury. This is going to be a doozy. 2 really, really good teams. They both won Class 5 state championships in the last couple of years. And people have talked about them as being, along with Stonebridge, the 3 premier programs in Class 5. Well, Highland Springs are now in Class 6. But I think I really like what Maury has done in terms of making their schedule really tough. But to me, this is just 2 really athletic, experienced teams, well-coached teams with a lot of talent. Highland Springs quarterback is going to be going to University of Maryland. Maury has a number of major D1 athletes on their team, and the fact is, neither team is going to be scared of the other. This has been one of those where people have just been talking, hey, it would be nice if Maury could play Highland Springs in the regular season for a while, and so they made it happen. Highland Springs is on the road. But I think Highland Springs will be able to go down in a close one and beat Maury 30-27.
Ooh. Well, this is my thought. I mean, Highland Springs beat Miramar by a touchdown. They beat Manchester by a touchdown, so they're not invincible. I think Maury is better than Manchester and better than Miramar. So I'm going to say Maury's going to win this game. I'm going to say 24-20. Maury.
All right.
Look, great matchup here, guys. I went back and forth on this game, to be honest with you. I sort of, for me, this is a coin flip. Both rosters are loaded. Both coaches are great coaches. Maury's at home, so maybe a little bit of an advantage there. Here's the thing about Highland Springs, though. In close games, they find a way to pull the game out. Coach Johnson, something with his play calling that he puts his kids in the right spot at the right time. When they need it 3rd and 4 and they've got to pick up 4 or 5 yards, they find a way to do that. And I think that's going to be the difference here. Super close game. Could go either way, but I'm going to say Highland Springs on the road pulls this thing out 21-20.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Good call.
I think revenge is a big factor. They're going to be playing at Maury.
Exactly.
Coach Johnson, unbelievable coach. No one's mentioned the word Doree McCain, who's been on this show. Look at his track record. He's a Maury graduate, played at Hampton U. Just too many weapons for Maury. Ari Watford, Fred Johnson. those are big names, but I mean, they are stacked. They're going to have what happened last year in mind. And 31-28, it's Highland Springs. I expect them to stay close. So I like Maury in this one.
Oh, so wait a minute, who are you picking? You're picking Maury, 31-28?
31-28, Maury. Yep.
Okay. I thought you were saying Highland Springs. Okay, cool. All right.
Let me add one more thing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's like when Highland Springs played at Stonebridge 2 years ago. At Maury, there was some referee home cooking. Remember that.
Okay. All right. That's
all right.
Possible. I don't know, but okay. Next, we have Tuscarora at Loudoun County.
I'll take this one. This is a very good game in Loudoun County, and I believe that you're going to have a Tuscarora team that's coming off a surprising blowout of Independence. Loudoun County lost to Briarwood. Jason and I, we were at that game. I think that I saw Tuscarora. We both saw Tuscarora at a scrimmage, but that was their first scrimmage of the year. And Tommy P is a weapon at quarterback. I really like the way he plays. He's very athletic and throw the ball. And obviously they've progressed. Loudoun County, their tailback, very good tailback. Sorry, I don't have his name. I just looked it up. And then Jeremiah Davis Jr., of course, fills it out. I think that this will be a closer game. I think that Loudoun County's home field advantage, that unbelievable hot chocolate they have here, will keep them in it. But I like Tuscarora 26-14.
Oh, okay. All right. What about you, Jason?
Well, I don't drink hot chocolate when it's 110 degrees out, but obviously Kirk does. So that's right. Each his own, right? His analysis is spot on. We've seen a couple of these teams together. These schools are 2.5 miles apart, guys, right down Route 15 in Leesburg. They're close, pretty good rivalry. Not only are they physically close, I think they're close on the football field. I think they're very similar. They both use the run to set up the pass. I think, though, with Fletcher Westfall, the big lineman, paving the way here, Tusky pulls out this one. I got him 27, Tusky 27, Loudoun County 16.
Okay. All right. What about you, Jason? Jay Gholson?
I have Tuscarora in this one. I'm going to say Tuscarora 30, Loudoun County 18.
I think Loudoun County is very well coached, and coming off a loss, I think they're going to figure some things out, kind of correct them, and win this one 22-17. All right. Next, we got
Rusty. I will add this. I'm sorry. I will not be shocked if Loudoun wins this. They did some good things against Briarwoods. I am picking Tuscarora, but look out for Loudoun County.
Okay, that's good. Good input. All right, Westfield versus Lake Braddock.
Look, here's what I think about Westfield. I think we're starting to see the Westfield of old return to that form that they had a few years back when they were not only contending for, but winning a lot of Class 6 titles out there, right? They've had 2 convincing wins so far. Maybe that gets them on track. Braddock has split their open in 2 games. I think they're going to get better as the year goes along here, but they're still fairly young. I think those young guys will develop. Not enough in time for this game, though. I like Westfield here, 28, beating Lake Braddock by 8. So 28-20, Lake Braddock. I'm sorry, Westfield 28, Lake Braddock 20.
I'll fall in line right behind you, Jason, and I've got Westfield 42, Lake Braddock 21.
I'm going to say Westfield, in my opinion, I live 3 miles from there. They're back. Okay, so I'm going to say Westfield 35, Lake Braddock 7.
Wow. Okay.
All right. That's a great home field advantage for Lake Braddock. We had Coach Doherty on, and I was just impressed with Westfield's victory over Patriot. And I think that this one will be close. Lake Braddock just lost so many starters. I like Westfield 17-7, but don't be surprised if Lake Braddock pulls it out at home.
Okay. All right. All right. And now we've got Lake Taylor at Hopewell. This has been an emotional season. I know this for Lake Taylor. The coaches lost his mother earlier this year. I mean, right before the season, if I'm not mistaken. And he also had another loss. I forget who the other person was, but I know that they.
I think it was one of Coach Sawyer's
coaches,
family members.
I think it was a coach, maybe. He was
It was a
somebody.
coach. I think it was an assistant coach and then his mother. Yeah.
Right.
So this team is very inspired and motivated, and Hopewell is a traditional power. But I like Lake Taylor to go into Hopewell and win 24-20. Jason, your thoughts?
Yeah, Hank Sawyer's been. We just talked about him there. He's been steering the ship at Lake Taylor since 1999. Guys, he's been the head coach there since 99. That's 2 years before the iPod came out. So, Kirk, you were probably fumbling around with boy band CDs, whatever you were doing then, because the iPod wasn't out. That's a long time to be. That's a long time to be in the coaching ranks, guys. But listen, I think they've got another good team this year. Lake Taylor's had some tremendous teams in the past. So coming off a bye week is, Hopewell's got the longest consecutive playoff appearance streak in the Richmond area, though. I don't know if anybody knew that. So,
oh no.
Yeah, 12 years they've made the playoffs consecutively in the Richmond area, and that's the longest active streak. But I don't think Coach Ricky Irving Hopewell pulled this thing out. I'm giving it to Hank Sawyer and Lake Taylor by the score of 36-21.
Okay.
I have one question. How long is the bus ride from?
That's how you measure these games, Jay. You get the distance, and then you figure out a formula, and that's what you roll with, man.
Yeah.
Hopewell 16. Lake Taylor 6 because of that bus ride.
Because of the bus ride. Okay.
And that bus ride, if the tunnel gets backed up, it could take them 3 hours to get to Williamsburg. So keep that in mind. I'll finish it out here. This is a really good game. I asked Matt Hatfield about this and a couple of other people. These are two teams that I think will score on each other. Lake Taylor has a lot of talent. I think the key is going to be whether or not Hopewell can handle their defensive pressure, their defensive line. Both teams have college prospects, Keyshawn Henderson, Travian Henderson's younger brother. And also, that's a great environment, little downtown Hopewell High School there, classic older stadium. I think Lake Taylor will win. I think it'll be very close. I like 28-24 Lake Taylor. I don't be surprised if Hopewell. That's a tough place to play.
All right. Now, I do have a question. Are they both? I know Hopewell is class 4, right? And Lake Taylor is 3. Lake Taylor didn't move up, did they? Mm-hmm. Okay, so they don't have to worry about each other in the playoffs later. Okay, all right. And now we go to battle of some teams in the southwestern Virginia. Really strong programs. We've got William Byrd at Christiansburg.
Yeah, I'll take this one. I spoke with Matt Case, Roanoke Times. He gave me a great report. So, William Byrd is in Roanoke County. And if you ever travel down to that part of the world, you get to Roanoke County, and Roanoke County is very rural compared to the city of Roanoke. The great Charles Haley went to William Byrd. Christiansburg, I believe, was the state semifinalist last year in 4, and they're going to be heard from in the state playoffs. They've got some great players. It's a great home field advantage. That bus ride, Jay, it's not about traffic. It's probably about 40 minutes. I like Christiansburg with Tanner Evans, the regional player of the year, winning that one. And I will go 31-7.
Okay. All right. Jace?
Yeah, Rusty, I think each week we're trying to find a game that's got your namesake in it. Is that the deal? We got to find something. Or is that why we got this?
Yes, right. Absolutely.
Right. So I guess Larry Bird's going to be on the show next week. What's going on here? So, hey, look, Christiansburg is a really good football team, guys. Let me give you something here real quick. They've got a tackle, Jaden Edwards. He's 6'5", 300. He's a D1 prospect. The bad news for William Byrd is that he's the smaller of their two tackles. Right. 6'8", 305 kid manning the other side, right? I don't see how you move those guys if you're William Byrd. The other kid's name, just give him some props here. His name is Carter Stallard. So you got Carter Stallard, Jaden Edwards, both of them humongous kids on the line there. That's going to be too much for Rusty's namesake. So I got Christiansburg 40, William Byrd 14.
Okay. All right. Jay?
I'm going to go with Christiansburg because of that. I was a lineman. So I'm going to say Seaburg 26, William Byrd 17.
All right. Kurt?
I like Christiansburg 31-7. I'm not sure if I said it already, but Tanner Evans is like one of those great baseball player, regional football player of the year. I think he's about 5'9", but 180, 185. He plays safety and great all-around player. So those big linemen are going to block for him. And I like Christiansburg, and that's also a tough environment to play.
Yeah. I think we know which way I'm going to go. I'm going to follow William Byrd all the way through this season, especially if they can win be on the path for a state championship. But legitimately, they're a really good team. They won their first game over Liberty from up here, Liberty and Bilton, which has been a traditional power in the past. Not so much the last couple of years, but they beat Liberty 70-0. Okay, and they beat Hidden Valley 47-7. So I like William Byrd. I know Christiansburg is a great program, but I really like William Byrd to get the victory. Yep. So we'll tally these up, and before we get, I want to thank all of you all. Well, Jay Gholson has helped sponsor this particular segment. And he has his, once again, I'll let him repeat his week 2 player of the week from Freedom High School, and then we'll be closing out.
Yeah, the player of the week is E.J. Reed. He had 2 touchdowns. He had 2 interceptions. He punted twice for over 40 yards. So he had an great all-around game. So E.J. Reed is the player of the week.
I think that's a great selection. One of the things, Jay, what I'd like you to do is and we're promoting the Real Prince William Real Sports page. If you have any recommendations, shoot them to Jay on Facebook on that page, because he can't watch all of the games.
Exactly.
He doesn't just realize. So if you have recommendations, please let him know. And I'll let my co-host Kirk and Jason, if they have any last words for this week.
Get out the games. 1/3 of the season is going to be over after this Friday, guys.
Yep.
I'll just say that for the player of the week, get a $50 gift certificate to your favorite restaurant. The young man last week had Jay donated to charity. Hats off to him. So E.J. Reed, and the way you're going to get that, the way Jay pays for this is he's a realtor extraordinaire. So make sure that you contact Jay about your real estate needs. He knows Fairfax County, he knows Loudoun, and he knows Prince William. So make sure you give Jay a call. Congratulations, E.J. Reed, who's headed to Wake Forest. That's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, guys. So for Jay Gholson, Jason Sterling, and my co-host Kirk Hilliard, this has been the Kirk and Bird Show. We are out.